Back in the early days of computer education, some now forgotten languages dominated classrooms. They were meant to be simple, structured, and ideal for learning, but they slowly faded into obscurity. Today, we're diving into 5 programming languages that were once staples of school computer labs, but are now digital fossils. Number 5, ALGOL. ALGOL, short for algorithmic language, was created in the late 1950s as a way to standardize the way algorithms were written. It might not be a household name today, but it laid the foundation for almost every modern language you know, including Pascal, C, and Java. Its structured, block-based syntax influenced generations of programmers, especially in academic circles. Back in the 60s and 70s, ALGOL was the language of choice in universities, but outside academia, it never gained much traction, partly due to its complexity and lack of support on early personal computers. Today, ALGOL is mostly studied as a historical curiosity, a grandfather no one visits anymore, but without whom the family wouldn't exist. Number 4, BASIC. BASIC, or Beginner's All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code, was designed in the 1960s to make programming accessible to non-scientists and students. By the 1980s, it was everywhere. Versions like GW Basic, QBasic, and even Microsoft's BASIC on early PCs made it the default language for anyone learning to code. Its syntax was simple and forgiving, maybe too forgiving. No types, no structure, and a lot of go-to statements. Great for instant gratification, bad for teaching discipline. Despite its flaws, BASIC introduced millions of students to programming, but as better teaching languages emerged, it was gradually retired from classrooms. Still, for many, typing 10 print hello was the first taste of programming magic. Number 3, Smalltalk. Smalltalk wasn't just a language, it was a revolution in how we think about code. Developed in the 1970s at Xerox PARC, Smalltalk introduced pure object-oriented programming long before it was cool. Everything in Smalltalk is an object. Numbers, strings, even code blocks. That made it incredibly elegant and consistent, but also unfamiliar to those used to more procedural approaches. Some schools and universities adopted it to teach object-oriented thinking in a clean, minimalist way. However, it required a very different mindset and often ran in its own self-contained environment, which limited its appeal in the era of DOS and Windows. Today, Smalltalk still exists in niche circles, but it never made it to the mainstream classroom again. Number 2, Logo. Logo is the language of childhood memories, especially if you remember controlling a little turtle that drew shapes on the screen. Developed in the late 1960s for educational use, Logo focused on teaching logical thinking and procedural steps, not on writing real-world software. You'd type commands like forward 100 or right 90 to move the turtle and create geometric art. It was colorful, simple, and even fun. While it wasn't meant for serious application development, it played a valuable role in lowering the barrier to entry, especially for younger students. Eventually, it faded away as schools shifted to more modern tools and languages. But Logo left behind generations of kids who first learned logic, geometry, and algorithmic thinking while making that turtle dance. Number 1, Pascal. Pascal was the go-to language for structured programming education for decades. Created in 1970 by Nicholas Wirth, it was designed specifically for teaching, with strict typing, clear syntax, and support for good programming habits. In the 1980s and 1990s, Pascal was taught in countless schools and universities worldwide. It offered just enough power to be useful, without letting beginners develop too many bad habits. Languages like Object Pascal and tools like Delphi evolved from it, but Pascal itself started to fade once C, Java, and later Python took over educational spaces. Still, it was a brilliant learning tool, and if you ever typed begin, end into a compiler, you probably owe Pascal a thank you. These languages may be forgotten by the industry, but they were essential stepping stones in computer education. They taught us structure, logic, and creativity, sometimes with turtles, sometimes with strict rules, and sometimes with all caps line numbers. Did you learn programming with one of these? Or maybe you still remember your favorite Pascal project? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more tech history and digital nostalgia.